What's happening, guys? I'm N64 Josh, and this is going to be a little different video. This is going to be me kind of just opening up about what I've been going through for the last 10 years. And I recently wrote a book called Another Castle, and that book is about my journey with depression, disappointment, and how I've dealt with those Another Castle moments. And so if you've played Super Mario Brothers, you know the saying from Toad at the end of each world after you defeat Bowser. He says, "Thank you, Mario, but your princess is in another castle." And sometimes life has those exact moments where we think we've reached our goal, we think it's finally happened, yet our princess is in another castle. And so it's kind of the point of this book. And one of the things I talk about in this book is the history of Nintendo. And I mean, they've been around since the 1800s, and their business has had ups and downs, and you see bad decisions that were made and decisions that didn't pay off. And one thing in particular, and I talked about this recently on a podcast, is I wish I had grabbed this point for the book, but it kind of just slipped my mind. But one of the things that happened back in the 1980s when Nintendo was trying to get into the arcade scene, they had a game called Radar Scope that started off strong, but then quickly tanked. And so they had like 2,000 to 3,000 extra arcade machines sitting in a warehouse, and they needed to get a game in them that was going to sell. And so the first idea they had was, hey, let's make a Popeye game, right? And Popeye was a cartoon from back in the day. And they were going to make a game that featured the love triangle that was in the Popeye series. You know, you had Popeye, Olive Oyl, and Bluto. And they were told no. They could not use, they couldn't use Popeye. And because of that, Shigeru Miyamoto, the creator of Mario, the creator of Donkey Kong, came up with Donkey Kong. Now, that no that they got about Popeye was probably kind of a blow to them, right? Because that was a known brand. If they could have put out a game with that brand, probably some immediate success. And they were told no. And it was probably the best no that company could have ever heard. Because of that, we saw the birth of Donkey Kong, Mr. Video, aka Jumpman, aka Mario. And now Mario is one of the most familiar faces we see from any brand, probably bigger than Mickey Mouse at this point. And so sometimes we have to deal with those disappointments, but we don't know what they're going to lead to, right? Sometimes we hear no, or we have something that we think is going to be a sure thing, but then it might force us to produce something greater. And so wherever you're at, if you're a streamer, an artist, you're working on YouTube videos, you're working on podcasts, whatever it is, if you're not where you want to be, that's okay. Keep striving for that goal. And I want you to look at how far you've come. All right, look at how far you've come. Look at what you've done. Look at what you've created. This is something I was terrible at. I never did this. And I had to start celebrating those small victories, right? Even though maybe they were Another Castle moments, I still had to celebrate them. And what that started doing for my mental health was improving it, right? So my walk with depression didn't end from medications or anything. It ended from me changing my perspective. And part of that perspective change was looking at all that I had accomplished, right? It wasn't the final goal. I haven't met my final goal. I'm not where I want to be yet. But after listening to a guy by the name of Gary Vaynerchuk, which I highly recommend you listen to his podcast. If you don't do well with language, good luck. But other than that, he's got amazing things to say. And one of the things he constantly drives home is the fact that whatever you're working on can succeed, will succeed, but give it the time it needs. Give it the years that it may need. Be patient, be grateful, and you got this. And that's what I needed to hear. I had had many other people tell me like, oh, just be, look at what you have and be thankful. And I'm like, my eyes were too focused on the goal. I was too focused on what I wanted to be. The one thing that I felt would make me a success is all I saw. And because of that, every other area of my life, I felt like a failure. And it really wasn't a burden that I needed to carry. And after my book released, and I've heard from a lot of other people, I'm getting similar messages of people saying, "Yeah, that's my problem. I carry this burden of being a failure, or, because I haven't reached my goal yet, I'm not successful." One of the things I understand is that part of being a success may mean that you're making the kind of money you want to make, and it may get you out of the current situation that you're in. And I understand all those things are hard, and I understand they can be frustrating. But if you can just focus on what you have done, and the small victories along the way, the things that you have learned through the process, you'll start to see yourself in a much better light. And if you can do that, it's going to affect your content, your relationships, everything in a positive light. You'll start to realize that you're not so bad and that you're kind of amazing. So keep pressing on, keep striving. If you have those another castle moments, just know that you still get to be a part of the journey. You're still writing the story. And that's pretty awesome. That's pretty awesome. It's okay that you're not where you want to be yet with your streams, with your artwork, with your YouTube videos. Just keep working at it. And you don't know when opportunity is going to arise. Right? So it can be frustrating. I understand that more than anyone. But stick with it. Be patient. Be grateful. And you got this. I know this has been kind of a different video. I might do this stuff a little more often. Let me know what you guys think in the comments. Thank you so much for watching. We'll see you in the next one. Bye now.